How to use Asana full Asana project management tutorial. In this video, we're going to be talking about one of the greatest project management softwares out there, and I'm going to be talking about it in great detail. I'm going to be showing you all of its features and how you're going to get started with it and how you can actually use it to run your small scale business or any type of business in that fact, okay? So what we're going to do is we're going to come over to asana.com, and if you're completely overwhelmed with managing your content and business and all the different paths that you have to juggle on a daily, then I've got just a tool for you, and here's the ultimate tool, okay? So basically, once we get into it, what you're going to want to do is you're going to make sure to, create new businesses and have new creators overwhelmed with all the content. And if you want to create urgent tasks, this is the platform for you. And the best part about this is that it's best for cross-functional work. So, it's very quickly to manage and set up. So the first thing you want to do is come to asana.com, obviously, and create an account. So to create an account, we're going to go over to the pricings and actually see how the pricings work. So you can easily organize your work and start pretty much free, access Asana's features, and the best part is no credit card. So basically, we have three trials. We have personal, okay, which is totally free and it's free forever. You have starter, which is around $11, and advanced, which is around $25. So the price keeps going up and up, but obviously the features do as well. But trust me, the free plan for a beginner is perfect. You get features scaled up to the level of what you're doing. So I'm going to go ahead and click on get started. And once you go ahead and click on get started, we are going to add our email. So you're going to add your email in this section, click on sign up. And now it says get access to project timelines. So you can try the starter plan for free, but I'm going to continue with the personal. Okay. Now, once you go to that, it says please verify your email address. Okay. So what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and verify all these things that we want to verify. Okay. So I'm simply going to go over to my email. Okay. I obviously have an email opened up where Asana has sent me a verification. So we're simply going to verify that. And once that is verified, we're going to get into the onboarding section. Now, the onboarding section in Asana is also a very, shaky section where you're going to want to do proper onboarding. So let me show you what it looks like. So this is how the onboarding starts, where it starts populating your projects. And we're simply going to wait for it to fully load in. Okay. And one more thing that you're going to want to keep in mind is that if you've used other project management platforms, Asana is very different from all of them. Asana is the most differentiated one out of them all, in my opinion. So I'm going to add a full name. Then it asks us for a password. So I'm going to do just that. Here we go. We're going to click on continue again. That says, what's your role? Choose one of them. So you have manager, director, executive, business owner, freelancer, and student. I'm going to go with manager. It says which function best describes your work. So we have administrative assistant, communications, design, etc. So I'm going to go with design for now and click on continue. Then it says what's your main objective in Asana? So obviously I'm here for project and process management. So I'm going to go ahead and click on continue. It says what's something you and your team are currently working on. I'm going to go ahead with, let's say, program project. Okay, we're trying to create a program. So once we do that, we're going to click on continue. Then it says, what are the few tasks? So I'm going to go with coding. Okay, dev. And then let's go with the front end. Okay, once we do that, we're going to click on continue. This is how would you like to group these tasks into sections or stages? So to do doing and done, I think that works fine. This is what layout works best for this project. You can change this later. So you have the list layout, you have the board layout, timeline layout, and calendar layout. So generally the default layout for Asana is the list layout, but you can switch to any other view, which I think is an incredible feature for a project management platform to give us. So I'm going to stay in list, but later on we can also change to Kanban. Now it says invite a teammate to try Asana together. So you can invite a teammate by easily giving their email address. Okay. So I'm gonna skip this because I don't really want to invite anyone right now, but you can do all of this later on as well. So it says you're all set. Get Asana for all your screens. I'm gonna go ahead and skip this for now, and we're gonna get straight into Asana. Now in Asana, first of all, on the left hand side, we have the home section, which is your main dashboard. Okay. Here you can get an analytical insight of what's going on in your board, which is basically a summary of everything. All right. You can see your upcoming tasks, upcoming projects, and you can also see your first project and customized templates. You can also keep a private notepad for yourself and get the tasks that you've been assigned with different goals and different people. Okay. So once you've done that, you can see your tasks all compiled over here. Okay, so my tasks contain all these things like dev, coding, things that I added previously. But this is not my main project section. This is not my main project portal. My main project portal basically comes down here. But we're going to get into all of that later because before we manage anything else, I want you to go and adjust the settings. So what you're going to do is you're going to change your profile settings. So to change the profile settings, you're going to come over to profile. And when you do that, you're going to come over to settings. So once you're here, it's super important to easily manage tasks within the team since when you assign a task, a small profile picture of the assignee shows right next to it. And it's important for the project as well as same goes for, the name of the course. Like let's say John be distinguished from my actual account. I've got a different account in here, but this is just for the presentation of the course that you can update all the other details in here too. These are quite important if you're working in bigger organizations, but I won't dwell too much here since it's going to be very individual to you. You will find some very fun things in here, especially in the display tab, because this is where the design scheme goes in. You can change your, themes. You can change your language. Then you have, first day of the week, either Sunday, Monday, or Saturday, pop-up notifications, etc. So once we've talked about that, we're going to move right over to the management section. Now, let's go over to teams. Okay. So you can basically go ahead and create different teams, which is pretty unique. But I like to think of teams as part of, the business. If you have a sales team, if you have a marketing team, you do the exact same thing for your Asana. So what you're going to do is you're simply going to come here and click on new team. So once you click on new team here, you can choose the name and you can also choose all the different datas and features of the admin. So let's say I'm going to go ahead and call this sales. All right. Now, once you go ahead and call it sales, you can choose the different amounts of people that you want to add into this space. Okay. So just go ahead and send in emails or names. Once you've done that, here it says team privacy. So you can add membership by request if you want to. Then there's private, there's public to organization. I'm going to go with membership by request, okay, which is basically anyone in your workspace can join this team if they ask you or if they request you, basically. All right. Pretty simple and straightforward. Now, once we have done all of that, what you can do from there is simply click on create new team. And once you click on create new team, it sets you up for, pretty much anything. So once we click on that, we're simply going to wait for it to load us in. And here is the team section. So here, first of all, you can find your members. Okay. So you can add different members by clicking on add member over here. And once you click on add member, you can invite them to your team by simply adding their email, or you can add any other, integratory setting that you want to add just to add them into your workspace with different products or services that they are based around. And moving on, it could be for your HR or onboarding processes with their company info and tools and resources and personal development. For example, we've got the team set up right now. So let's, come to the team dashboard. And once you come over to the team dashboard, let me tell you how you're going to create your first project. Okay. So to create your first project, come to the projects tab over here, and there's 3 different fields. Either you can create a blank project, either you can use a template, or you can import a spreadsheet. All right. So it depends on you how you want to approach this, template. You could use a template, import a spreadsheet, just create a blank project from scratch if you want to. So that is what we're going to be doing somewhat. Okay. I'm going to go ahead and use a template for myself. So once we click on use a template, it asks me to create a blank project. So I'm going to go ahead and call this one app dev. Okay, that is what we're going to call it. So once you do that, you can select a team. So I'm going to go with the sales team. Privacy, I'm going to go with team only. Default view, you could go with list, board, timeline, calendar. Then obviously you can go with whatever you think is good. I'm going to go with the default list view right now because I don't really want to get into, the integratory whatnots. Now, once we have created a blank project straight away, you're going to, step by step create it more because a great workflow needs to have good support. And the first project is going to be any type of planning that you're going to want to do for work. Okay. Now, once we have this app dev project opened up, what you can do from here is you can actually go into the different settings of this project. Okay. You can go into the different, you could say, help integratory settings and different things that this project actually insinuates. So what we can do is you can go to edit project details. You can change its name and change its owner if you want to. Then obviously moving over from that, you can change its name if you want. You can manage your project permissions if you want, and we can save it as a template, add it to portfolio, and a whole lot more. So, this is obviously for greater detail, and Asana, actually really allows us to do pretty decent project management when it comes to their software. So, use the software to its fullest with its full capabilities, and, you might just get a good team management, variety or good team management, setting. So, moving on from there, what you're going to want to do is you can come over here to the task section. And in the task section, you can easily make yourself identify the different widgets of the task, or you can easily go ahead and change your views as well. So up here are the different views, by the way: list, Kanban board, timeline, dashboard, calendar, overview, workflow, message, files, and you can even add more if you want. Okay, all is easy. And these are all pretty easy things to get your head around. Again, you can set different color schemes. You can set different profile icons for yourself if you want to. And if you want to go ahead and add different tasks, let me show you what you can easily do for yourself, because, adding task is really important. So let's say I'm going to go ahead and click on add task. So I'm going to call this task 1. Okay. Now, once you've created a task, let's talk more in detail about views. Okay. Now, views are amazing for people who, prefer a little variety in the workspace. So obviously you can switch over to board view, and board view is good for people who like ease of use when it comes to their workspace, because board view allows you to easily drift across the table. Okay, so if you want to change the different groups of your tasks, you can drift across the table and easily delete it, add it, move it, etc., alter it. You can also go ahead and edit your tasks in great detail. So let's say I'm going to go ahead and click on the task, and yeah, that opens this up. So you can, assign a person to it. You have a due date to it. Then we have this, you can have dependencies, and then we have descriptions. So you can add descriptions like, hi, I want you to create the back end for this app, etc. So you can just write some random detail just like this. And once you've written it, just click out of it, and now you have a task. So once you have a task up and ready to go, what you can do is, go into a super easy breakdown that you've got the board view. So, we can add sections as well if we want to. So I'm going to go ahead and call this section 1, and we're going to call this section 2. And then finally, I'm going to call this one section 3. Okay. So once you've done that, we can come over to the board section. And once we're in the board section, easily drift across all these spaces. So let's say I'm going to go over to section 2. We're pretty much set over here. So then we can move over to timeline view because the project views are really important, and the most important views are list because of its default custom value points, and we have the board view because of its ease of use, and then we have the timeline view because of its vast variety of time tracking and editing creation. Okay, so these are the vast fields that you're going to want to keep your head around, and these are the different iconic details that you're going to want to have in your mind when you're using a software like this for yourself. So once we have gotten an idea of this, what you can do is you can move over to the other views as well, where you can actually sort different things out. Like you can sort it from the start date, sort it from the due date, etc. So these are also different things you're going to want to keep in mind. Then we can move over to dashboard. Now in dashboard, we have things like completed tasks, incompleted tasks, overdue tasks, total tasks. You have incomplete tasks by section, total tasks by completion status, and upcoming task by assignee, and task completion over time. So all of these things are different and they work pretty well integrated with each other. And it's all a matter of the you could say analytical insight that it provides you. So dashboard is pretty much a summary of all the work you have done in your project. Okay, that's pretty much all it insinuates. Then we're gonna move over to calendar. Calendar obviously is a lot like timeline, but less featured. Timeline is a calendar on bulk. It's on a calendar on steroids. So calendar is just a little light featured. It shows you the time in the form of a calendar, but it doesn't really allow you to sort anything or do anything important through the calendar. Okay, calendar can mainly just help you if you want to go ahead and see when you have due dates. That's pretty much about it. But generally, yeah, not used a lot. Then we can move over to overview. Now in overview, we have things like project description, what's this project about, etc. So you can give your team members or you can give your workspace a whole project description, letting them know how this project works and how other things work in the project. So then we can move over. We have things like workflow, we have messages. Again, you can get into if you want to. Then moving on, once we have talked about project views, what we can do from there is let's talk about, different features that a project management tool requires. So the first feature that we're going to be talking about, again, creating a task. So I'm going to come to add a task and just write a name. So I'm going to call this task 1 as T1. Click on enter. Now I'm going to add T2 as well. Click on enter, and then we're going to add T3. There we go. So now we have 3 tasks. And in these 3 tasks, you can individually go ahead and fill things in by giving them descriptions. So let's say I'm going to click on this. And once you click on this, it says this task is visible to the members of sales, which is pretty good because that is what I want, because I want my team to be able to see what I'm doing with the tasks. Okay. So, once it says that this is visible, what you're going to do from there is you're going to give it an assignee. Let's say I want to assign it to this person over here. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and assign. Then we have due dates. I'm going to go with 21st as a due date. As you can see, it says tomorrow. Then what you can do is you can add dependencies for you. So basically it means that this task is dependent on this task. Okay, so we have dependencies basically. Then again, we have descriptions. You can add things in. You can also add images in, by the way, if you want to. And you can include different hyperlinks and emojis, etc. So I'm going to go over to images. You can add any image you want to. So let's say I want to add an image of this flowchart that I've created, and I want to give my workspace an idea on how I plan on running the workspace. Okay, so I'm going to open up the basic chart up here, and once the image is uploaded, what you can do is just click out of it, and now as you can see, it's uploaded in the description. So just like this, you're going to fill in your description. You're going to let your team know about the project as much as you can, because that truly helps the people, you know, do proper task creation, and how you can go ahead and, actually get into the task panel by insinuating that task. Okay. Then moving on, you can go into other tasks as well. You can give it descriptions. You can also add subtasks into it. So basically, all the main tasks will end when you've completed the subtask. And when someone is done with their tasks, what they can simply do is they can just click on the tick section. And as you can see, it tells you that, hey, they're done. And it has a pretty cool animation as well, which I like about Asana. So, you can turn off the celebration as well, by the way, if you want to. You don't necessarily need to keep it on. But, I like it, so I'm going to just keep it on. Not a bad feature for us to work in. Now, once we've done that, as you can see, that now T1 will not complete until this completes. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and complete this. Okay, and now that it's completed, we can go ahead and complete this, okay? Because it's not blocked anymore by any other platform. So I'm going to complete these two, okay? And once these two are completed, you can finally go ahead and complete this platform as well. So, just like this, you can add dependencies and add different, you could say, schedules. You can add different weekly plannings for yourself if you want to. And the best part is that you can actually move these around in Kanban. As I told you, Kanban has amazing ease of use that helps you move projects around just like this if you want to. And you can create new sections in Kanban as well. Generally, these are things that make your, you could say, project management scouring go pretty far. Okay. Now, moving on from here, we're also going to go ahead and talk about the other vast features that Asana has brought us when it comes to the project management section. So first of all, let's discuss about how we're going to share this board with someone else. So to share the board, what you can do is you're going to click on share over here, and it gives you two different ways. You can either invite them through email, or what you can do is you can just copy the link and send it out to people that you want to join. Okay, so those are the two ways that you can actually go ahead and basically have anyone join your space. Then moving on, we have another great feature, which is Ask AI. So Ask AI is, pretty much your very own chat GPT in your Asana. And the reason for that is because this AI goes ahead and answers any questions that you have, okay? Which is pretty incredible. So let's say I'm going to go with, are there any risks with this project? So it basically gathers your task, analyzes your info, and writes in its answer, okay? And depending on how big your project is, it may take up to 2 minutes. So we're going to do is we're going to wait for it. And obviously, if there's any risk, it does let us know. But if there's no risk, it does also let us know. So it says, based on my analysis, there are a few potential risks with the AppDev project. It says task one is a due date for 28, which is only 7 days away. This is, a short timeline creating a backend for an application. Meeting this deadline could be risky. No tasks have actual time tracking enabled. There are no assignees set on 3 out of the 5 tasks. This could indicate unclear ownership and responsibility. So you can see that it actually goes through your whole work field when it comes to your project management, and it scours and scans everything, and it gives you a proper summarized detail on how you might be making mistakes in your workspace and how you can actually fix it. Okay, so these are really important things to have in your mind, and really important things that can help you in the future when you're using a software like this for yourself. So yeah, do make sure to use the main Asana AI when you're going through sections like these, because Asana AI is your friend and it will help you a lot when you're using a software like this. So just imagine of it as a quality checker. It just keeps checking the quality of your project, and if there's anything wrong with it, it will let you know straight up. So that's a pretty good feature in my opinion to have. Then we're going to move on to this section where it says customize. Now, once you go into customize, you have different things like fields, rules, forms, task templates, apps. So the two main things that I want to discuss with you is apps and rules. Now, what are these? Rules are automations, apps are integrations. So automations are basically a process where if you want a, step to be carried out in a platform, what you can do is you can turn on an automation and in the background it keeps working and going on, okay? So, basically, let me show it to you. I'm going to come over to rules, okay? And once you come over to rules, you can go ahead and either create a custom rule or you can go ahead and create a template for yourself. So let's say we have this task or all subtasks completion status is changed. Task is moved to a section, task is assigned, send email, etc. So these are automations. So basically, if a task is added to a certain project or task is, removed, you can add or remove different things. So I'm going to go with when. I'm going to say task is assigned. Okay. Assign is, let's say, I'm going to go with the assignee. Assignee is this. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to go and write it to remove task from the project. Okay, let's go with that. The automation doesn't make a lot of sense, but it's a good way to show you how automation would work. So let's go ahead and undo the task. Okay, and let's say to this task, I'm going to add myself as the assignee and let's see what happens. So I just added myself as the assignee and look at that. The task is now removed. So that is basically how automations are considered to be work. Okay. So automations are a great thing to have in your workspace. And trust me, I would definitely recommend you to use something like this for yourself because it saves you a lot of time and it's just a very good thing to have for yourself. So do make sure to check it out and do make sure to use it. Now, moving on, one more thing that we're going to talk about is apps, okay? Now, applications are integrations that you can add into your Asana. So these are also pretty helpful because applications basically allow you to go ahead into your Asana's main space and integrate different platforms into it. So if Asana is not, able to do one thing, you can just use these applications that you have to do the others, pretty straightforward and pretty fun things to get your head around. So you can also go ahead to Slack, Google Drive. We have Jira Cloud, Google Calendar, DocuSign, Figma, HubSpot, Chrome extensions, Zoom, Vimeo, Slack, Gmail rules. So these are different things that you can, associate your basic Asana with. And, it's generally going to help you out with your work and project management. So let's say if I were to give you an example of let's go with Slack, for example. So what you can do is you can add Slack to your project, and not only can you manage your project over here, but you can also talk about it on Slack, which is pretty incredible. So, having a whole capability like this for yourself is pretty incredible. And all you're going to need to do is you're going to connect your Asana to your Slack or any other platform by simply adding in your details and giving it authorization. And, we're pretty much set to go from there. So, yeah, that is the main idea about Asana and how you're going to use this incredible platform as a project management platform. So, if you enjoyed this video, please do make sure to drop down a like and subscribe to the channel. And if you want to see more videos like this in the future, let me know down in the comments below and I'll be making a whole lot more for you. Till then, that is all from me, and I hope to see all of you in the very next video. Have a great and incredible day, and I'll see all of you next time. Goodbye.